William and Kate have reportedly gone full ghost mode on Meghan Markle. No calls, no texts, and not even the courtesy of a Christmas card. According to palace insiders, the couple has drawn a hard line, and Meghan's name isn't just unwelcome, it's become completely off limits. Staff have allegedly been instructed to avoid bringing her up altogether, not just out of politeness, but to protect Kate's emotional health. What's especially striking is the level of coordination behind this freeze-out. This wasn't a moment of anger, it was a choice, and a permanent one by the looks of it. It signals that the royal family has moved from passive distance to active disengagement. But this wasn't just about Meghan's past behavior. Something happened recently that pushed the palace over the edge. Rumors suggest that a recent bombshell moment finally tipped the scales. On May 2nd, Prince Harry appeared in a BBC interview that reportedly reignited every old wound. Sources close to the palace say that the content of the interview, subtle jabs, contradictions, or perhaps just the timing, sent shockwaves through the royal ranks. What was meant to be a controlled appearance spiraled into another perceived betrayal. Insiders claim it was immediately after this broadcast that William and Kate made their final decision to cut Meghan off for good. The timing was no coincidence. They saw the interview not just as frustrating, but as dangerous. Some even believe it confirmed their worst suspicions, that the couple could never be trusted to keep private matters behind palace walls. But while Harry's words may have triggered the fallout, the real fury wasn't loud. It was chillingly quiet. William didn't yell. He didn't storm out or make a scene. Instead, he went cold. Royal insiders describe his reaction not as explosive, but as something more unnerving. Pure, calculated silence. He's reportedly furious, but he's channeling that emotion into strategy, not spectacle. By refusing to respond publicly, William is taking the power back, starving the drama of attention, and hitting where it hurts: relevance. The message is clear. Meghan is no longer part of the royal conversation, not because they're afraid of her, but because she's no longer worth responding to. And that's far more brutal than any tabloid headline. The palace is leaning into invisibility, cutting off oxygen rather than engaging in another messy war of words. But there's more to this silence than royal politics. Kate's role in all of this has added a deeply personal layer. Kate Middleton's recent health struggles have cast a long shadow over the family, and they've reportedly changed everything behind the scenes. While many royal watchers focus on the headlines, insiders say William's protective instincts have shifted into overdrive. Meghan's name is now considered emotionally harmful, not just politically inconvenient. Reports suggest that any mention of her presence causes visible distress for Kate, prompting staff to remove her from the equation entirely. It's no longer about royal drama, it's about safeguarding Kate's recovery and mental peace. What was once a distant feud has become an emotional minefield. Some sources say William views Meghan not just as a threat to the monarchy's image, but as a trigger for his wife's trauma. But this move to silence goes far beyond emotion. It's become policy. Behind palace walls, Meghan's name has allegedly become the ultimate forbidden word. Staff are said to avoid it like a landmine, while top aides have been quietly instructed to pretend she doesn't exist. And it's not just casual conversation. This new rule reportedly applies to meetings, correspondence, and even party planning. The reason? Total removal. William and Kate are done entertaining the Meghan narrative, and they want her scrubbed from royal relevance altogether. According to one insider, it's a psychological defense as much as a political one. A firm refusal to let chaos re-enter the royal bubble. But this scorched earth approach also sends a message to the public. Meghan isn't just unwelcome, she's been erased. However, this kind of finality wasn't William's alone to enforce. There's another royal voice that had to weigh in. King Charles may be the monarch, but even he's not immune to pressure from within the family. Reports claim William has been urging his father to take a firmer stance, to stop straddling the line and finally pick a side. With Charles's health under scrutiny and the monarchy's image in flux, William's reportedly stepping in as the family's enforcer. And when it comes to Meghan, neutrality is no longer an option. The idea is simple: protect the crown at all costs, even if it means freezing out his own son's wife. Some even speculate that Charles has already agreed in private, quietly pulling support and refusing further aid. Whether out of duty, fear, or exhaustion, it seems the king is now backing William's push for full separation. But the royal strategy doesn't stop there. It's not just about cutting ties, it's about starving attention. Royal expert Angela Levin recently added fuel to the fire, calling out the royal family's eerie silence as a deliberate tactic, not indifference. According to her, this isn't a case of ignoring Meghan and Harry out of fatigue. It's a planned strategy. Avoid giving them anything they can use for attention. No comments, no responses, no rebuttals, just a wall of silence that isolates them more than any statement ever could. Levin suggests this approach is slowly but surely undercutting their influence. Without royal reaction, there's no controversy to capitalize on. And while Meghan may be used to controlling the narrative, she's now talking to avoid. The silence isn't just cold, it's calculated. But in a twist of irony, Meghan may now be facing the very treatment she once gave to her own family. It's a twist that hasn't gone unnoticed. Meghan Markle once famously distanced herself from her own father and siblings, going years without contact and leaving questions swirling about what really happened. Critics are now pointing out the irony. The royal family seems to be doing the exact same thing to her. Thomas Markle has spoken publicly about Meghan cutting ties without explanation, claiming she shut him out completely. Now, William and Kate appear to be using that same icy approach. No statements, no arguments, just silence. Some say it's karmic, others think it's strategic payback. Either way, it's a mirror image, and it's chilling. Meghan once controlled the narrative by removing people she didn't trust. Now, she's the one being removed. But even in silence, the public's attention hasn't gone away. And one explosive rumor is still circling. Whispers of a deep personal rift between Kate and Meghan have never fully gone away. But lately, reports suggest things may have been far worse behind the scenes than the public ever realized. One royal insider hinted that Meghan's behavior left scars, not just politically, but personally. Kate, often seen as the calm and collected Duchess, was reportedly crushed by certain behind-the-scenes moments that never made headlines. Rumors even claim there were heated exchanges, tears, and an ongoing sense of betrayal that left Kate emotionally drained. While the infamous bridesmaid dress fight made tabloids, insiders insist that was just the tip of the iceberg. The tension didn't dissolve. It festered. And now that Kate is dealing with major health challenges, the idea of reconciliation isn't just unlikely. Harry has always walked a complicated line. Loyal husband on one side, royal blood on the other. But lately, that line seems to be cracking. Reports claim he's increasingly isolated, caught between supporting Meghan and salvaging some sliver of connection with his family. Some sources say he's reached out quietly, trying to maintain a relationship with his father or brother behind the scenes. Others believe the palace wants nothing to do with it unless Meghan is completely out of the picture. And that's the dilemma. Harry can't have it both ways. His loyalty to Meghan has cost him his place in the firm, but even that loyalty is being tested, with speculation swirling about tension inside their own marriage. Friends reportedly say he's exhausted by the constant strain, but the biggest blow may not be personal. It may be legal. The most dramatic rumor circulating? That King Charles may be quietly considering a move that would strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. It's not just about punishment. It's about branding. The Sussex name carries weight, and the royal family reportedly wants to take that power back. Some advisors allegedly view it as the ultimate reset, a way to reclaim control over the monarchy's image while signaling that actions have consequences. Meghan and Harry, meanwhile, have built an empire using those titles, from Netflix deals to global interviews. Losing them would mean losing more than prestige. It would hit their income, their influence, and their ability to market themselves. And while Charles hasn't made any public move yet, the idea alone is sending shockwaves through royal circles. But while titles hang in the balance, a different kind of silence is proving just as powerful. Even online, the royal family is maintaining its eerie silence. There have been no subtle jabs, no veiled Instagram posts, and no liking or unliking of suspicious tweets. It's a complete blackout. Analysts say this is no accident. In a world where Meghan and Harry thrive on digital headlines and social media buzz, the royals have gone the opposite route. No engagement, no response, just distance. Every family holiday, public appearance, or anniversary passes without a single reference to the Sussexes. Some fans have tried reading into photos, tone, or outfits. But there's nothing there, and that's the strategy. Total narrative control through absence. Without fuel, there's no fire. But behind this cold exterior, there's growing talk that the royal family's patience may finally be running out. It's been said that revenge in the royal family isn't loud. It's methodical. And according to some insiders, the palace is quietly preparing its own form of retaliation. Not through public statements, but through media alliances, subtle power plays, and legal maneuvering. There's been buzz that trusted British tabloids are receiving strategic leaks, not to smear Meghan directly, but to subtly reshape the public narrative. Other reports claim that palace lawyers have quietly reactivated, monitoring contracts, deals, and statements coming from the Sussex camp. The goal? Cut off the oxygen, make it harder for Harry and Meghan to leverage their royal past without risking consequences. It's a chess game now, not a war of words. And if Meghan thought the silence was frustrating, what's coming might be far worse. With the royal family shutting her out completely, Meghan Markle is left in a precarious position. Her power once came from proximity, the Duchess who walked away. But now that the palace has closed the door, some are asking, what's left? Recent speculation hints at new media ventures, memoir projects, or even a brand overhaul. But behind the scenes, sources say she's scrambling. The usual headlines aren't hitting like they used to, and the spotlight is starting to drift. Without a royal feud to stoke, she may be forced to pivot, or disappear entirely from the center of conversation. Reinvention may be the only option left. But whether she can survive without the royal orbit remains to be seen. And just when it looked like the story was over, another twist was waiting. One of the most chilling rumors to surface during Kate Middleton's extended absence wasn't about her health, it was about control. Some online theorists began connecting dots between Meghan's rising profile and Kate's sudden silence, claiming this was more than coincidence. The theory? That Meghan's influence, directly or indirectly, triggered a royal lockdown. The idea sounds wild, but it spread fast. Some claimed the palace was protecting Kate from more Sussex-related leaks. Others went darker, suggesting Meghan's media pull was beginning to reshape how the royal family handled its most private members. There's no proof, of course, just whispers. But the speculation was loud enough that the palace had to issue unusually strong denials. Still, even those felt vague, only adding fuel to the conspiracy fire. And while Kate eventually reappeared, the silence surrounding her absence raised more questions than it answered, especially when one unexpected connection was revealed. When Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah, they shattered the royal image in a single hour. But now, some are calling that moment a turning point. Not for Meghan's rise, but her undoing. While the interview earned global sympathy at first, the long-term effects have been more complicated. Critics say that moment turned Meghan into a permanent outsider, someone who didn't just walk away, but burned the bridge behind her. And with time, the narrative has shifted. Some fans now question the claims. Royal allies say it was a calculated move, not a cry for help. And most interestingly, palace insiders reportedly traced the family's complete silence back to that exact moment. As if Meghan's most famous interview didn't just start a conversation, it ended one. What began as a bold move may have triggered a permanent exile, and with the palace showing no signs of opening the gates again, the story may be far from over.